Hello and welcome back to everyone, respect and to Elimination Chamber 2025 out of 10. And wow, that was a hell of a night, wasn't it? What we thought was just going to be your bog standard pay-per-view, 4 matches, and The Rock attempting to turn Cody Rhodes into his corporate champion. Something happened that none of us will probably ever forget as wrestling fans. But yeah, before we get into that, let's start with the opening match tonight. In the PLE began with the Women's Chamber match. Bliss was the first competitor to make her entrance and enter a pod, and 2 women chose to open the match with Naomi and Morgan. Before the contest could begin though, Jade Cargill came into the ring and attacked Naomi instead of Morgan, which was what everyone expected, obviously hinting at who attacked her. Belair pleaded for inside the pod, but Storm has decimated the glow. Cargill left and Naomi was declared unfit to be taken out on a stretcher. Morgan waited for the next competitor, and that was the EST. She tried to get Naomi outside the cage until Morgan attacked her and started throwing her in the chamber. The order was Morgan and Naomi beginning, then Belair, then Perez, then Bayley, then Bliss. Naomi was the only person who had been eliminated by the time all competitors were in the match. Surprisingly, Bayley was the next elimination, soon followed by Perez. Morgan eliminated Bliss to narrow the field down to her and Belair. Both women came close to winning several times before it was finally ended with the EST hitting the KD for the win. A fun chamber match from start to finish, although some fans were upset by one of the competitors taken out before it began. Other than that, crowd was hyped for everything. Belair winning was a good choice, and yeah, be intriguing to see how it all unfolds between Naomi and Cargill now. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The next match featured Stratton and Stratus, easy for me to say, taking on Jackson and Ray. The Poison Pixie and a 7-time champion began for their teams. Trish hit a third press to get things going. It didn't take long for the fight to spit out of the ring, so all 4 could get involved. There were times where it looked like Stratus was hesitant to do something, but other than that, as she threw herself in smooth, she was doing it. It took her time to get comfortable in the ring again, but she got there eventually. After a hot start, there was a bit of a lull in the middle of the bout, but they eventually started picking up the pace again. While the match was bookended by some entertaining action, it felt like they slowed down too much. Stratton was able to pick up the win for her team by pitting her signature moonsault on Jax. Yeah, good win. Stratton obviously going to benefit from being with Stratus, and yeah, it's always going to be the way you're going to go. Didn't think it was great or anything, but you know, it did definitely serve, so it did its job. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and I'll upgrade the Women's Chamber match on 8 out of 10. Before we got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, of course, WWE took no responsibility for this match. In kayfabe, no unsanctioned match. The lights were turned out in the arena as Owens and Zayn circled each other in the ring. KO first for the through punches, and it was off to the races. Zayn was selling his injured neck a lot. It didn't take long for them to start digging around using rings for weapons. After a few chairs were used, Zayn grabbed a hockey stick to get the big pop from the Canadian crowd. A brutal fight that took both men into the crowd and used everything they could find to inflict damage. The crowd was eating up as friends turned rivals punished each other. It wasn't a typical contest, so it's tougher to judge against the rest of the card. Technical ability wasn't as important obviously in this match. It was just about violence and blood. Everything they did looked convincing to the raucous crowd, and added to that intense file. Owens and Zayn continue to find more ways of making their matches intense over time. They elevate each other in ways they should study. They're perfect rivals. Zayn used a chair wrapped with barbed wire several times, but Owens still found a way to kick out. KO eventually hit a powerbomb to the apron just as he did it in NXT. After one more, he finally rolled Zayn into the pin. This is one of the matches that you'll just need to see for yourself, because no recap will do it justice. I looked like Owens was going to attack Zayn for the match. Ryan Orton's music hit, and he took out the prize fight of the RKO, teased the punk kick, but it didn't happen. So yeah, that's obviously going to be a big match for Mania, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. A brilliant match, and of course that chaos at the end. I thought this is great stuff. Good stuff. It was then time for the men's chamber match. Logan Paul was the first man to enter the pod for the men's chamber. McIntyre and Rollins began as the 2 men in the ring, and then it was Priest who came in, then Logan Paul, then John Cena, then CM Punk. Toronto crowd was more anti-Paul than anything else, so the cheers and boos depended on whether he was being beaten up or doing beating for the some time. McIntyre was surprisingly eliminated first, and that was followed by Paul eliminating Priest for a frog splash from on top of the pod. A few minutes later, Punk eliminated the Maverick with GTS for a massive pop. Punk then turned down a handshake from Cena and then hugged him instead, but they started throwing punches. Rollins, Punk and Cena have a lot of history, so yeah, made sense for them to be the last 3. Cena spent several minutes recovering after being put through one of the pod windows. Once he recovered, he and Punk both hit Rollins with their finisher to eliminate him from the match. Rollins stayed at ringside and hit Punk with a stomp before watching Cena making the best of the world pass out with the STF to score the win and go on to Cody Rhodes. The way this match was structured was really good, but with so many big names, 1 or 2 eliminations were bound to feel early. Putting that aside, most of what we got here was entertaining. The various feuds felt they needed to be addressed, and there's some eliminations that set up potential matches. But that wasn't the end of it, because the segment with The Rock asking for Rose's soul ended the pay-per-view, but they weren't alone. Cena was still in the ring following his chamber win, and rapper Travis Scott was with The Rock for some reason. Rock asked Rose to embrace him and accept his offer, while Scott being smoking in the corner next to Cena. The American Nightmare told him his soul was with the fans and told Rocky to go F himself, which got a massive pop. Cena applauded Rose's decision as the Rock stared at him motionless for a long time. Cena hugged the American Nightmare and then got a final signal from the boss. He delivered a low blow to Rhodes to turn heel for the first time. Rock watched as Cena took Rhodes apart while the crowd gave a mixed reaction. Some were happy to see Cena turn, others were unhappy. As soon as it was clear Cena was not going to leave the ring, the heel turn was telegraphed, but it still had a big impact. It may not make a lot of sense right now, but seeing a villainous Cena in his final year is going to be incredible. The shock factor, all of it, I just loved it. It's going to be one of those segments that is going to be remembered probably for the rest of our wrestling lives. John Cena is finally a heel, and what way to do it. It's going to make the WrestleMania main event 10 times more interesting. I can't believe they actually did it, and I'm so intrigued to see where it goes next. Overall, Elimination Chamber gets an 8 out of 10 from me. A really good pay-per-view for me. I really enjoyed this show. Obviously, Cena turning heel was going to be the one that dominates the headline, and rightfully so. A historic moment, and it's what this show will always be remembered for. A truly incredible moment.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme, and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.